Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Brahmanandam Param Sukadam Kevalam Gyan Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguణarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Sthiti Prakarana, section 33. The righteous conduct that leads to liberation, that's the topic of it. And it is giving insight into the parable that has been told of Dama, Vyala, and Kata. To give you a reiteration of that story, gods and demons, they are always at war as long as this world exists. Gods are the higher self, demons are the lower self. When demons win in a storyline, a magician, powerful spirit known as Shambharasur, his plan is to have gods completely demolished and demons to rise and rule for this forever. So there will be no possibility of anyone coming up saying the world is mithya. This world doesn't exist. And the attention will not go in that direction at all. That's the demoniac project. The project of avidya. Maya Shakti is the power of illusion. The Maya Shakti is represented by Shambharasur. That Maya Shakti has two types of illusion. One is avidya, another is vidya. Avidya movement, intensifying ignorance in you. Another, vidya movement, diminishing the ignorance. Both are in the realm of Maya. In a storyline, Shambharasur reflected upon the cause of defeat. Why are the demons defeated again and again? And he came to his conclusion that if the demons are incapable of developing egoism in themselves, gods will not defeat them. And he proved it right. And the demons who were created by Shambharasur, they are Dama, Vyala, and Kata. Dama that stops this subtle action of your understanding. It is a disease for your intellect. And if that happens, you live not highlighting Dama, controlling the mind and senses, that's called Dama. If you control mind and senses, three subtle root letters, a mystic key. One is Dama, controlling the mind and senses. Next one is Dan, charity. Next one is Daya, compassion. When you allow these three qualities to operate, Dhamma, Daya, and Dan, if these qualities are operating, then gods will win. But Dama, the demon Dama, was the one who could stop these three. So Dama has its center in Ajna Chakra between the eyebrows, a negative force operating at the Ajna Chakra that doesn't allow your understanding to come to a state of awakening, a state of performing the purpose of the soul by assimilating or by practicing the virtue of control of mind and senses, practice of charity, and practice of compassion. If these are not highlighted by your head is now ruled by Dama. That's a demoniac head. No matter how good you look, it's a demonic. The next demon that he created was Vyala. Vyala relates to heart center. Heart center is the seat of your sentiments. All loving sentiments emanate from your heart. But Vyala is a kind of a snake. Snake can give you a lot of illusions. Can be extremely cozy, very soft, good looking, tender eyes, amazing flickering tongue. But Vyala bites you, envenoms your feelings. Your feelings are the powerful gift given to you by God, powerful blessings. If those feelings become messed up, they appear to have very good feeling. You must realize everyone is growing in this world. No one is perfect. You must realize a mother trying to help a baby, that's very normal. But then if motherly feeling has become afflicted by that Vyala, then what happens? Mother goes after keeping the baby smiling, even at the risk of harming the baby. You have to figure that out. Moha. Moha is a deluded love. Deluded love, that's the caused by Vyala within you, that snakish element. And it needs to be controlled. Next one is Kata. That relates to your Kriya Shakti. Its center is your navel center. Kriya Shakti. to pursue your self-effort. Day by day, you live to follow your self-effort for attaining the purposes of life. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Liberation is your ultimate. But this demon cuts this movement, makes you lame. Lame duck. So these demons defeated gods because they had amazing energy. Gods went to Brahma, creator. And creator told gods that if you could engender egoism in these demons, their energy will not be so powerful. You will be able to dominate them. So gods now played tricks. They intentionally went on running away and praising how great those demons were. And then intentionally attacking them and now degrading them, scolding them. So when the demons became subjected to praise and censure, they lost their grounds. Gods conquered them. Shambarasura noticed all this. And he is going to create another set of 3 demons. And that will keep in suspense. At this stage, Yoga Vasistha gives you subtle teachings. There are countless illustrations of great men and women who performed impossible deeds by taking recourse to self-effort. If your self-effort is not affected by these 3 negative factors, your self-effort will do something amazing. In other words, don't let that type of mind develop that doesn't allow you to practice control of mind and senses, that doesn't allow you to be generous, that doesn't allow you to pursue the goal of your life. In brief, if you live with a mind that is helpless, mind that sustains the idea of being helpless, if you exist with that type of mind, you are in the realm of bondage and you will stay in bondage. And there is no limit to it. You go on incarnating again and again. But if you overcome these factors that limit the Da movement, that sadhana is your spiritual sadhana in daily life, focused on promoting Dama, control of mind and senses, Dana, charity, and compassion. If you allow that to flow, you will attain amazing heights. Self-effort, if you adopt it in a right way, pursuing the path of dharma, that it begins to blend with divine grace and it becomes exceedingly powerful. This reminds me of a parable. Once A swan lost its egg by the ocean. The ocean current came and swept away the egg. Now the swan developed a will, sankalpa, to empty the ocean. And took a blade of grass, hopped to the ocean, dipped the blade, came out of the ocean, shook it. With exceeding determination. Sage Narada was passing by, he got amused. And he said to the swan, I will give you a mantra that will accomplish your task. Each time you do that, repeat the mantra, Garudaya Namah. Adorations to Garuda who brings Lord Vishnu. Before Garuda, the entire ocean becomes a small pit full of water. And that's what happened. An ocean spilled out the egg. This story, parables. You see. The idea is your self-effort. If you go into mathematical way to understand how much does it accomplish your purpose, it's only put your stick into the water, come out and shake it. Well, the project is the whole ocean. So mere self-effort doesn't accomplish your goal. But self-effort becomes real self-effort when it blends with God's grace. So with your self-effort, you bring in an understanding. You are an instrument in divine hand. That God is operating with you. So don't pet yourself on the basis of ego. How great am I? If you do that, you are getting that Dama, Vyala, Kata in you. But when grace begins to operate, there is no limit. Because moving away from the world of illusion to liberation is not a mathematical, quantitative process. Just like waking up from a dream to the waking. You don't calculate how big is the dream world, how long will it take for it to slip out from this world. No, waking movement is a grace movement. Prepare yourself to wake up and go on preparing it. But will grace bring about awakening? And that awakening is beyond your imagination. That's what you have to understand. Your self-effort, your daily sadhana, that you must sustain. But when your bhavana, your feeling becomes more and more purified, you have the power of profound affirmation. Grace begins to operate. And miracles happen. Devout service to sages is the most effective method of treading the path of righteousness. Service to the sages. Again, shouldn't take it all in a very literal way. The idea is to follow, allow your life to flow under the guidance of Guru or sages. Life is is not something that your ego can really easily understand. Even small little things you learn from experts. You want to be a musician, you can't just look into a book and start playing with the notes. You go through an expert. So, turn to the expert who have lived their life in an exemplary manner. Then allow that to become a channel, that guidance. Keeping that in view, in other words, simple way, that type of guidance that allows you to practice integral yoga in your daily life, that doesn't allow you to become dependent or restrictive. Any source of spiritual guidance that simply goes on telling never go to any guru or any inspiring center. This is the only thing. Then this is not the real guru's guidance. Real guru's guidance, develop the understanding of the story of Dattatreya. He had 24 gurus. Gurus can be anything that inspires you. And if you improve yourself in a profound way, this is the best dakshina you give to your guru. The relation with the ideal guru is to blossom and to turn the entire world as guru, not only guru, God himself. So that type of guru-disciple relation must develop. And life must be under that guidance. Then that's called Guru Seva. Even severe austerity, visiting pilgrimage centers, and a study of scriptures are not as effective in promoting knowledge as the service of the sages and saints. By allowing Satsanga environment to develop, that's most important. If that is not there, then your mind is simply distracted. Let me go to Haridwar, let me go to Kankal, let me go to this, that, Badri. And you end up counting what waters or prasads you have drawn from them. I'm not underestimating, you must realize that. All that is extremely important. But what is very important for kindergarten children, they are not to be important if you are to grow up. So if you are growing up, you must understand it is not going after different pilgrimage centers, but allowing your personality to be integrated wherever you are. Ghat ghat mein hai Sai Ramata. In every place there is divine self. Man changat katwat mein Ganga. Your mind is well, then your bathtub becomes a puja, a highly profound center where Ganga flows, and the shrine of Badri is right in front of you. And God enters your own heart. Your whole body becomes a tirtha. But you have to understand all this has to be developed in a mature way. So, if you have come to that type of understanding, then what you are gaining day by day is more profound than your visiting so many pilgrimage centers. And also, a mind that is distracted, only going after studies. I've studied this Upanishad, now that Upanishad is waiting for me. Now that itihasas I have left out. Study Ramayana, Mahabharata. Someone comes up, oh, have you read Skanda Purana? So there are so many things. From one point of view, it's a big opportunity for you to choose from different sources. But if you are not well guided, it's also an opportunity to keep your mind completely distracted, not pursue anything, just collect so many data. So that type of study is intellectual. It gives you lots of heads, but not enlightenment. They are the righteous men. By sages and saints, what Vasistha means is those people whose association enables one to be rid of kama, krodha, lobha. Any setting that reduces perverted lust of the mind, anger, and greed. These are the three gateways to hell. Hell means you become increasingly helpless. And life becomes increasingly purposeless. Then every day you live, you are going through a kind of hell. But that type of association that encourages you and gives you right direction, controlling kama, desires, by a state of mind that is absolutely contented, the virtue of santosh, also known as tripti, satisfaction. Krodha, instead of anger, developing kshama, goodwill in such a way that you give kshama to yourself as well as to others. If mistakes have happened, don't hold on to those mistakes. Kshama. But it doesn't mean, therefore, that what you need to understand, you learned what made you commit error. Kshama, learn that lesson, but don't go into the visualization of what happened. Learn lesson and move on. Don't go on showing your diary. Look how I was and how am I now. So kama, krodha and lobha, controlling anger by kshama, controlling lobh, greed, by an inner understanding God is within you, and Godward movement fulfills all your desires. The ego sense exists as an effect of ignorance. It is a taint in consciousness. Ego sense implying egoism. Ego sense will be always there. But when egoism is there, see, ego sense is like a natural prop for your personality. If your ego is not there, you can't exist. Psychologically, you are dumped. Ego is sustains your personality, your prop. But if ego, the prop, is transparent, you are well sustained and at the same time your vision is not obstructed by it. That's the right type of ego. But when ego becomes overpowered by egoism, anger, hate, greed, etc., that ego does not allow you to see anything beyond a little circle of your practical reality. You are confined to a very small, constricted state of consciousness. When the true nature of I am is not known, the impurity of ignorance becomes intensified. The goal of life before everyone to understand who am I. But in this process, Maya-gripped mind resolves your problem by pushing out egoism. This is am I. But this egoism in a person is a magical. When you look for it, it is not there. Who am I? Is your body am I? Your body is constantly flowing. It's your senses, your vital forces, your mind, your senses. Where is your I? And what happened to your ego when you go to deep sleep? But who am I? That has to be explored in a profound way. The real I am is one absolute. I am, that am I, Brahman alone. So, working with your I am ego, mind as it becomes purified, allows that very ego as a key to discover the eternal I am. That point will become clear gradually. If this egoism is not uprooted by the force of knowledge, it gives rise to the tree of the world process and drives the soul through repeated embodiments. The truth is that the self is ever free of the ego sense. Ego being illusory. The reality behind ego is absolute I am. Just as the sky becomes overcast with dark clouds, so the self becomes obscured by ego sense. That in turn creates the blinding rains of illusions led by ego. You are in a world of lies, lasagna of lies. New word I have learned. We make lasagna with so many layers. So here, layer after layer illusion. I am, the body is one layer. The pranas are shimmering. Another illusion. Senses, another illusion. Mind, intellect, ego. So all these are sannyas. And we enjoy the sanya with the whole world around you. Sri Rama asked, O sage, what method should a person adopt to thwart the growth of egoism? I am indeed frightened by the evil spirit of the world process. Swami Vasistha explained, O Rama, by constantly remembering the true nature of the self, the illusory ego sense is not allowed to grow into the mighty tree of the world process. There are three types of affirmations. Allow your ego to work along these three types. Not all the three types. Two types are good, third type is negative. And first type, I am all this. I am the imperishable Brahman. That's the ultimate, the ideal for your handling the ego. Who am I? The highest answer, Brahman, the absolute. That's your goal. To facilitate this, adopt another type of I am. I am all this. I am the non-dual reality behind all names and forms. Try to understand. One is Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Another is Ahame Vedam Sarvam. I alone exist in all. So mind a little more comfortable. A yogi ascending the ladder of wisdom adopts the attitudes. I'm subtler than the 100th part of the tip of a hair. I am detached from all objects of the world. I am the indivisible Atman. These assertions or affirmations lead the yogi to progress on the path until the self is realized. So that's all your sadhana depends upon affirmation. First stage of affirmation, you face the deity in the morning. And you invoke God's presence. The deity is picture. But by invoking God's presence, now the deity becomes powerful. This is called affirmation. You are creating your bhavana, your feeling, and imposing that feeling upon what you are seeing. Now, the role of affirmation in a profound way, that's what Vedanta teaches. Having told you the whole world what it is not a reality. You are experiencing the world through your senses. Not a single sense can bring to you the exact reality. That you have to figure out, because a vulture will look through the eyes and see something different. The dog smells through the nose. When I smell you, how did you smell 3 months back? I'm joking. Not only joking, but it's a real point. The world is experienced through your senses. And senses are not really bringing up the exact reality. And even your brain and all the brain centers put together are only like a little computer. The last type of ego sense, that which maintains the illusion of I am nothing but this body. I am nothing but this mortal personality. That illusion, this is me. I am real. This whole world is real. If that type of illusion is maintained, then that's the false ego sense that most destructive. It paralyzes your self-effort completely. You don't have the need to do any self-effort towards. You have accepted the world as it is. So this type of ego concept, I am the body, that has to be effaced through your spiritual understanding. You outgrow them. You handle them. Body has to be handled, mind and senses. But just like you will handle a computer, all this to be handled until as a means to attaining enlightenment. The enlightened state doesn't have to do anything with your nervous system. It doesn't need to have eyes to see how enlightened am I. Simpler way to understand. Think of all the reflected suns. They all look like suns, and they're all in different conditions. And if you build up some sentiment, some of them are in good circumstances, some are in bad circumstances. And they have terrible stories to tell. But the reality behind every little reflected sun is the sun. That's one alone, self-effulgent, needing nothing. This point has to be understood. And that's the whole purpose of religion, spirituality, no matter which way you go. All religions ultimately have that focus. To bring you to the realization, I am, that am I. By taking recourse to the two auspicious forms of affirmation, I am absolute Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. The other, Ahame Vedam Sarvam. All names and forms, behind all names and forms, Brahman, I am. Try to understand. If you are experiencing dream, waking state, the entire dream doesn't exist. You have nothing to do with the dream. Another way of waking, everything that you are experiencing in your dream, you are. So these two types of affirmation should be promoted. The third should be completely overcome, rooted out. As the ego sense dissolves, all that is good, auspicious, and beautiful, Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, Satyam, truth, Shivam, auspicious, Sundaram, beautiful. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. That's a profound mantra. That's the essential nature. That begins to manifest. But when ego sense is intensified, all good qualities in one's nature are obscured. There develops all that is negative, impure, inauspicious, and all that is humiliating. This is how Dama, Vyala, and Kata brought upon themselves endless misery. The story is giving kind of a pathetic fallacy. Dama, Vyala, and Kata, they are described to go through all this misery. And you can handle it. But Dama, Vyala, Kata simply implies all the misery that Dama, Vyala, Kata did is you are experiencing it. O Rama, whoever has removed this inauspicious ego sense recognizes the enjoyments of the world as essenceless. It's egoism in you that makes you feel the world is the source of your happiness and enjoyment. And that world, you know very well, is perishable. So you must also understand, no matter how long you enjoy, you're not going to stay. Just as a poor person is not attracted to a delicious food that is poison. It's dramatized. Someone is brought into a feast and he's given wonderful dishes, etc. And he looks at them and enjoys them. But suddenly a private resource whispers into his ears, it's poison. Immediately he gets up. No longer all those are interesting to him. But add to this story, he doesn't abruptly get up. He smiles at the host, thanks him, but doesn't touch a single. And sometimes creates an illusion he's eating a lot. So too a wise aspirant is not attracted to the pleasures of the world because he knows them to be blended with the poison of mortality and ignorance. This point has to be well understood in a profound way. It doesn't mean that every time something is giving you a little joy and you should turn away. It doesn't mean that. It simply means live your life for the purpose of discovering or for the purpose of attaining bhakti, devotion to God. Live your life to understand taste that is coming from your food and the food that is nourishing you, behind that is the God's hand. So enjoy the taste, but in that enjoyment, bring God in it. You are enjoying God's miracle. If your enjoyment allows you to switch your attention more and more to God, God is the source of joy. If your prosperity, happy condition makes you turn to more and more to your source, God within, then that type of enjoyment is perfectly okay, rather commendable. But if enjoyment makes you vain, inflates your ego, each enjoyment, look how much I have accomplished. Do you have the enjoyment I have? Who are you? If you are after that type of enjoyment, that's demoniac. Do not receive delight from the objects of the world, because it is this sense of delight that nourishes the false ego sense. Do not even recall to think of it. In other words, don't stay in memory thinking of all the enjoyments you have received. Having gone to a certain party, you go on remembering what spice did you taste, how many dishes you have eaten. Take recourse to the teachings of Guru and the scriptures. Adopt patience in pursuing the path that leads to the cessation of the false ego. You will attain supreme blessedness. A wise man adopts the attitude, I am all this belongs to me. That attitude we adopt to allow your mind to relax and your inspirational intuition to open up the window to a transcendental vision. And that's called, in that process, when you allow your mind to hold on to that type of statement, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, all this is Brahman. If you promote that movement, that leads you to enlightenment. But while you are promoting it, if you are not well educated spiritually, one part of your mind will say, oh, it is foolish. This is not true. I'm not Brahman. But this is what Guru says I have to do. As a result of this, all obstacles are removed, and the knowledge of the self begins to shine in the heart. He ascends the steps of wisdom and becomes established in the self. And with this I will conclude. The next topic will be the topic of story of Bhima, Bhasa and Dridha, a positive movement. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukma Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Ramaya Namah Om Namah Shivaya.